Hi, welcome to Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast. I'm Jen Jolly.
Hey, Jen.
Because we're friends.
I'm Fizza Dasani.
I'm Pallavi Ganalan.
I'm Zara Ali. Welcome, Jen / Jennifer, for people you're not friends with.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You were talking about how you wanted to be introduced as Jennifer Jolly, but then you're like, I'm Jen Jolly.
Yeah, well, that's like my official, like that's my name in SAG. That's my name on the, promotion things. But yeah.
We're all friends here.
Yeah,
we're all keeping it casual.
Yeah. Jen is a regular on our facial recognition comedy shows. If you're fans, you've definitely seen her out and about with us. I'm so interested to know how your stand-up journey started.
So I think this is actually a good story. I think you guys might like this story. My stand-up career started because my boss said the wrong thing to me. I was working for a studio head who said, we need someone in your role who has no ambition. And I was a creative executive, okay? Like I had to realize that when you hired me, you told me to be really ambitious. And I remember thinking in that moment, like, you would never say that to a man. And you definitely wouldn't say it to a white man. Like, we need someone in your role who has no ambition. I was like, you know what?
What does that even mean?
That just means stay in your lane and we don't want you to grow. That basically means like you're not going to get promoted. You're not going to like it, even though like I was the one making the right calls. That's the funny thing is like they were making the wrong calls on a lot of these films. And I'd be like,
they wanted credit for your right calls.
Yeah, no, not even that. They like calling we went a different way and it was the wrong call. Like they picked a movie that would bomb and I would be like, it's like a $200 million mistake, but okay. So like, shouldn't a person who's making the right calls be the one who moves up and gets promoted and like should be, Do
you think they were saying that like about your role, there's no growth, or I took it all. Was it targeted at you personally?
I feel like it was
and I did not mean to point at you like that.
Yeah,
no.
That. Yeah, no, I think they meant the role and me. I think they meant, but I took it as personally, as well as professional. Like it's so hard to like move up in a studio system, and it's all.
So this led to stand up.
So it led to stand up. Like it made me so mad, and right away I had like 20 minutes of material, and I was like, bitching to a friend who started doing stand up comedy, and she was like, "Would you please? You're so funny when you're mad. Would you please like try to get back into comedy?" Because when I first moved out here, like the goal was to, I went to school for film and theater and I wanted to come out here and just.
Where'd you go?
Or at Florida State.
Oh, yeah. That's a great film school.
Yeah. They're a really good film school. And their theater program too. Every year, half the class goes to New York and the other half goes to LA. And so the goal, I was just going to make it work somewhere in show business. I wanted to work in comedy, but I wanted to produce and I wanted to act. And, I didn't know how it would work out. And then when I moved out here, like Mindy Kaling was like, a star. And the studios basically told me, like, we already have Mindy Kaling. There's no room for you. And I was like, but there are a billion Indian people on the planet. There can only be one in comedy. And that's why you guys' show really appealed to me.
Yeah.
Because your whole thing was like, to dispel the myth that there can only be one. I'm like, that is quite literally what studio
what
people
you were
said
told.
To me. Yeah, like we already have
and
her.
And how long ago was this?
This was years ago, but like she was, a big star, and we would go up for a lot of the same things, and she would book it because she was
more famous. She was a name.
She was connected, and she was, and she's good. Like she is very talented. Yeah, she's such a talented writer. So I'm a fan of her work. But isn't
that crazy? Yeah. You think like a lot of people now are like, oh, Mindy's opened up so many doors for us. I'm like, but when she was like on her come up and when she was like doing The Office and even her own show, the rest of us were being told, oh, we already have one of you.
Yeah.
So like at what point did the narrative change from...
Well, I think
we already have your type to...
I think the narrative...
She paved the way for you guys. Do you look up to her?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Well, I would say the narrative changed because of Netflix and Amazon Prime and like what they
just
started.
More platforms.
More platforms, but also they noticed if you just put one Indian person or one Chinese person as a lead, the viewership skyrockets.
Well, yeah,
when
because
when it's in
Netflix,
the other territories.
Netflix is in India and in China now. So now you have billions of people
That's what I mean.
watching.
So it's not that the studio people all of a sudden became woke and like, it was a money thing. It always comes back to the money.
It took a lot for them to take that risk initially, and we like everybody was like begging for it. We're like, come on, just try it, try it once.
Yeah.
God, can you imagine what would happen if it failed? Like, we would
how was it ever going to fail? How was it ever going to fail? Like,
it wasn't. They're just fucking
isn't that
pussies.
Insane? Isn't that insane? I just find it so crazy. Like, people who are so numbers driven, and they have statistics behind like box office and all of that. It's like, look at the population in the other side of the world, and just look at their entertainment industry.
But it's kind of like that thing. Like, it's the reason like pharmaceuticals, like pharmaceutical companies won't generate like a new drug because it takes like a lot of investment and they don't want to take that risk even though it might be like way better.
Yeah.
It's like they're so afraid of taking that first step even though it would have such a payoff.
Yeah, I just wonder, why are they so risk averse? They lose money so much.
Because they've always done it that way, and they've always made money that way.
And when someone else does a new thing, everyone tries to copy that formula because they think that's the thing.
Fast and the Furious 30.
Yeah.
They're coming out
time 18.
Dude, they're coming out with a girl version of Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Now is our time.
No, and they're making
there were girls in the Fast and the Furious.
Now it's like
where they're the ones.
Now instead of like Dom and
like a girl
rest in peace, Paul Walker. It's,
yeah.
Are there naked dudes like swinging the flag and stuff?
I hope so. I hope there's like hot guys and like 8-packs and everything.
I want there to be like a really tough chick, like, we're family, and then drives off.
I bet you that's going to be there. I'm excited for it.
Probably. There's also, it's just very funny. Like you just see like Black Panther did so well, and now they're trying to make like a black version of it. Like they're making a Black Big basically with little. They're making it like what men want.
Yeah, what men want with Taraji P. Henson.
It's so funny, and it's like, but it all goes down to like the script. Like get a great script. Don't just do like
the same thing over and over.
Bring
so
something original.
They're now doing remakes of like essentially everything with either like a women all women cast or like a certain minority group.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, what about new?
Yeah. And what's very funny to me is when comics are like, this is actually a good time for women in comedy. And I'm like, we are half the planet, okay? It's always been it's just no one would let women do it.
Or women of color. They're like, this is a great time for you. Like, I haven't been on any of these diversity things. And it's like, we haven't been doing anything this whole time.
Yeah, I know.
And it's always been a good time. It's just people were blocking.
Have you guys noticed that, like, oftentimes it seems when a woman of color's career just blossoms, people start hating on her?
We were talking about this earlier, like Tiffany Haddish and who was the other person we were talking about?
Well, Amanda Seales.
Amanda Seales
had a special.
When her HBO special came out, go watch it. I haven't watched it yet.
I watched it.
I've heard clips and
I've heard it was good.
Great.
I liked it. I think she's absolutely talented, but I was at like a comedy venue and
Jen has other okay, never mind.
Look, I don't think it was like necessarily the funniest thing ever, but I think she's funny. I think she's very talented. I think she has a point of view, but a lot of people were hating on it.
It's very
she has a like what was it, a master's or PhD in African American studies. You can see that from her about like a lot of the things she talked about had to do with that.
Yeah,
but didn't you feel like she was like, it was like all her sorority sisters were in the audience.
Yeah, I mean, it was
that vibe. It was that vibe.
It was for her audience. It was for her friends.
But she has a following, and she's been in the industry for a while.
No, my comedy is for my friends and whoever fucks with me, right? Yeah. And it might be like a wider range.
My comedy is for conservative white dudes.
Yeah, no,
that's what my comedy is
straight up was like, if you're a Trump supporter, this special is not for you. I was like, wow, like she's not.
Well, if you listen to her podcast, she has a podcast too. And it's a lot of that. It's like if you're fucking with me, you're here because you want to be my friend. If you don't want to be my friend, you don't have to listen to this.
Yeah.
So I like that she's very upfront like that.
Yeah, but most people don't try to say something that could eliminate like 40% of the country right away.
Well,
but she
girl,
doesn't give a fuck.
she already knows, you know, like she's like, you guys aren't here for me. So like, why would I like,
she's really good on that insecure too.
Yeah.
I think also like right now people are trying to like redefine what comedy is and trying to hold comics accountable for things that they don't believe or like don't like participate in. So I think it is like a very smart strategic thing to be like, listen, you're not going to make me apologize for shit I don't believe, you know, for shit that I don't want to apologize for. And if you present that like right away, then later you don't have to like backpedal or like, you know, try to appeal to those people.
Yeah. And also you can like, the world is a big place. There's billions. If you can appeal to 1% of the population, 1%, you'll still be massively successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How much would you calculate that 1%?
What's 1% of 8 billion people?
Yeah, what is that? Can you do the math on that, Jen?
I don't want to put any. I'm good at percentage. I can do percentages.
So I'm just saying, like that's a
joke in our previous podcast,
which is being corrected. Yeah.
No
one said anything.
Fizz is one of the Indians.
I was trying to be.
Fizz is one of the Indians that are bad at math.
I'm actually not bad at math. I was a math tutor for
it wasn't in the moment numbers thing.
We didn't want to call you out. That's all.
I wanted to be called. I don't want to put out the wrong information. But okay, like my percentage was right.
Your percentage was right. The number was wrong.
I couldn't. Anyway, it's going to be fixed in the previous podcast.
So for anyone who's saying the Fizza said there's.
Do we?
I'm not gonna.
Well, now that we talked about it.
Okay.
Now that we talked about it.
So reference to a previous to our previous episode, Fizza said that 10% of the Indian population in India is Muslim,
and she's like,
and that's a fairly accurate percentage.
Well, okay, it's about 10%. And my point was 10% is a huge number out of 1 billion people.
That's all. We just got to leave it at that. That's it. We don't have to do the math here again.
Listen, our parents are listening.
100 million.
Yeah, it's actually 175 million.
Okay,
yeah, because
I'm going on full stats
billion,
here.
right?
Fun,
yeah, we
fun fact,
I've been saying this shit since 2001, so that's why I'm going off old numbers.
You got to inflate that number.
Let's go through all the countries, you guys.
How many Muslims in the cookie
How many
jar?
Let's do it.
Oh my god!
You weren't here. you weren't here when we switched off in like one of the previous episodes with Tehran.
Yeah,
and they were like making fun of me, and I was like, "These Muslims are making fun of me." But all right, great transition. I'm awesome.
Well, we have a non-Hindu and a non-Muslim on our podcast, so now we have like all of India represented.
Yeah, how are you raised?
So my family is Catholic.
Oh, okay.
So of course I'm agnostic now. That's what happens when you grow up.
We're recovering Catholic.
Yes, exactly. But like Catholic, like my uncle is a priest.
Oh wow.
We call him Father Uncle.
Oh God!
No, and my cousin, cousins, like second,
Paul, our sound engineer, is just cracking up right now.
She was. My cousin was laughing. She said because on her other side of the family, they have an aunt who's a nun. She's like, we call her nun auntie. That is so funny. You call him Father Uncle.
That's so funny.
That's crazy.
So how many generations were you guys Catholic for? Your family?
I would assume. So Kerala, the state of Kerala, is the only Christian state in India, but now there's a lot of Muslims there too. It's like split third. I think there's like a third Hindu, third Muslim, Muslim, third Christian. So the monks invaded the South and like put in the education system there. So as far back as that, because that's when
generations.
Yeah, generations like that. They spread Catholicism and the great schools. That's why there's like a 99.9% literacy in Kerala, which is like the only place in the world that has it. Is because of the monks institution that they put there. Yeah.
Y'all can read.
That's right.
Yes.
We can read.
That's like the one place in the subcontinent where like literacy is that high.
But you know what? It kind of balances out that you went to public school in Florida.
I know.
I did too.
That definitely like dumbed it down.
We were so impressive in Florida, and then we left, and everyone's just like,
okay, can I just say the one year I did second grade in Florida, I was like student of the month every month. I did second grade. I basically did first grade all over again. And then when we moved back to Jersey, I was like the dumbest kid in class.
Yeah.
It was such a big transition.
I was bored out of my tree in Florida. Like it was so boring. And like we had teachers that were in the Klan.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Where in Florida?
How is that okay in the 90s?
Tampa Bay area. Yeah,
Tampa Bay
area.
And there's like a KKK population?
Oh, yeah. They were like recruiting students, and they would have, and one time in our lockers, they would stick flyers in, and it had the Klans, like, and it would say, the Klan has paid you a visit. Don't let the next one be a business call. And it has like a knight on a horse. And
Wait,
like,
what the fuck?
Yeah. And we had teachers who were trying to recruit students, particularly the ones that had like shaved heads or were like into heavy metal music.
like,
So you were like, I want extra credit. I'll do whatever this is. And they're like, ooh, we're not looking for you.
Not you.
But like, could you get written up for saying racist shit? How is the Klan passing out flyers in your
that's the thing.
like,
It's
public high school?
Exactly.
It's in your locker.
It's in your locker. Like they do it when people don't realize
That's
what they're
insane.
doing.
So it's like other students doing it.
yeah, other students, and who knows if like
they wouldn't get written up or anything? Like that was.
I mean, if they got caught, maybe. But.
Okay, so
But also, it seems like faculty. There was some faculty that was probably in on it as well.
I
That's
think so.
insane.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like unsafe because of that? Or was it just normal?
I didn't feel unsafe. Like I just felt like there was a lot of, there's people with Confederate flag things on the on their trucks and on the back of that. Like it was just a part of. But what, and I think there's a thing about comedians. Like even when I wasn't a comedian in high school, but I was still funny. I was like writing funny sketches and things like for the drama department and stuff.
Yeah.
You're more observant. Like you're just more observant than civilians, right? And I would just be like, how is everyone just okay? Like, because I'd have white friends who were so lovely to me and so nice, but then they would go to a Daughters of the Confederacy meeting to get college scholarship money or whatever. And I'm like, don't you see that, like, how wrong and it's like, but it's not that big a deal. Like, it's been in our family for generations. Like, I don't care about that. I just want the money or whatever. And I'm like, wow, like, or something racist would happen and they just were like, oh, well, that's just how it is. And that person is still your friend. You're still going to go to that person's party, though. I don't know. Things like that would bother me. I was like, all states can't be like this. Like, doesn't anyone see?
Nah, I don't think all, but like I remember stuff now after just 1 year of spending time there because it was a culture shock for me going from a very diverse place in the Northeast to a place where I was the only brown kid in class. I was the only there was maybe 2 or 3 people of color in the entire elementary school. So I remember stuff like that. This was the first time I saw trailer parks ever.
Yeah.
And it was just
Which city were you in?
I was in the small town called Tavares, which is 40 minutes outside of Orlando.
Oh, okay.
So Central Florida.
Central,
yeah. And it was a culture shock for me. But now that I look back, I remember my mom complaining about certain things and stuff. And yeah, it's very similar things where people are nice to you in front of your face because it's that Southern hospitality. But at the same time, you can't trust them after hours and you don't want to be near them at night or,
or if you're at church, if you're in a Catholic church, you're supposed to, say shake hands, offer each other a sign of peace. I'm like, oh, I don't shake hands. And it's like, oh, but you shook hands with, and it's like.
So you're at Catholic church with your parents, and there's legit people at church who are not shaking hands. Who are like, oh, I don't shake hands, even though I sat there. And even though you worship the same God, you went through the same service.
Yeah, and my dad is an atheist, so he never went to church with us. But my mom was the one who would drag us to church because she's religious and she thinks it's a good way to live or whatever. And she would just she's very turn the other cheek, whatever. But I was still, I felt the need to say something. And it's you think I want to touch your wrinkly ass, old ass hand, lady? I didn't want to give you peace. It's,
I want you to feel the wrath of God.
Exactly. He's your generation needs to die out. I would just say horrible things. Why aren't you dead yet?
You out loud? Say that out loud.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
My mom would be like, Janie, that's not why you go to church. I'm like, this bitch, this racist bitch. I'm 12.
Why aren't you dead yet?
Why aren't you dead yet?
I had that in my elementary school. We would have PE and there would be a dance session or whatever as part of the PE thing. And people would get punished and rather than touch me. There were kids there that would rather be punished by the teacher for not participating than touch me in the dance session or whatever.
Yeah. And you grew up in Utah, right?
I grew up in Utah. Yeah. So it wasn't just that I wasn't white. It was that I wasn't white and I wasn't Mormon.
Right.
And when you were saying that reminded me, I had in 9th grade, there was one girl who was really nice to me. We were friends, blah, blah. And then we had one argument about the Iraq war. And she was like, at one point she just cracked and it all came out. And she was like, you're not from this country. You don't deserve a right like to decide whether we should go to war or not. And like, then she like saw that it like all came out and she was like, oh no, she knows I'm racist now.
Oh, so she was trying to hide it.
She was like, well, she like apologized later, but I would like never looked at her the same. I was like, oh, this whole time you've been xenophobic. Like, you just hit it.
That was so honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things
Yeah,
where
there are so many like little things like that. Like I noticed like with the teacher, like I remember in middle school, teachers will like have a double, like someone would say something so awful and racist. And then I would just respond super mean. Yeah, but I would say something way worse than what they said. But still, like I was the one who would get in trouble for what I said for hurting this white girl's feelings. But like she, you know, she can call my.
But her instigating, like that's not a problem.
Yeah, like, oh, well, you know, you can't say that to people. And I was like, well, she called my dad my dad's a biochemist. Like, you don't get to call my dad a garbage man and get away with it. I'm glad she's crying.
What'd you say back to her?
I think it's so bad, you guys.
say it.
I love how Jen just is a mean girl in disguise.
I'm just gonna look like
Throw that
such an
shade,
a-hole.
girl. Throw that shade.
Her dad was overseas in the military, and I think I said something like, "I hope your dad like
dies. You just keep wishing death on racist people.
I think I said something about like her dad dying overseas, and like she cried, and then the teacher was like, you know, that's like and I was like, to me, like no one was there to protect me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I
like
stopped the conversation, didn't I? That's right. She started crying, but like that's not going to happen again.
This isn't an eye for an eye type of shit.
Yeah.
This is like an eye for your soul type of.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's why. So then,
Don't fuck with Jen, man.
so okay.
That's
At
true.
what point did you develop this reputation of like, don't fuck with Jen because she will make you cry?
Pretty early on. I think
That's
that was-
good.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. But that's how it was. That's how I fought. I fought
Deadly.
racism.
And now she works at Disney.
And now you work at Disney.
I'm gonna get fired.
You work at the happiest place on earth.
I do.
For the Walt Disney Company, and Walt Disney was also like very racist. So
That's awesome.
it's actually for our listeners, like it's a little known fact around Hollywood that Walt Disney was racist.
Yeah, like wasn't he anti-Semitic?
He was anti-Semitic.
But also, it wasn't
and all.
like Mickey Mouse. That was blackface. That was like
I don't know about-
vaudevillian blackface.
Is that
he
the
wears the
symbolism
gloves.
behind it?
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
know.
that's what it derived from.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's what I've heard. I don't know.
What do they teach you at Disney? How do they brainwash you into
Well, Disney owns everything. Like that's
Disney? By the way, if you need to cast us for the next Aladdin movie or sequel,
Jasmine has sisters.
when
seriously,
She can.
sure.
Disney lets you know very quick, like on your orientation, the video where they show you like all the things. Like where they have their tentacles.
Yeah.
Like it's in everything. They're
everywhere.
Everything.
They're
I
everywhere.
get residual checks from Disney, and I've
Yeah.
never been on a Disney show.
Yeah, but
so
you
I'm-
have.
but yeah, I have.
You have. That's the thing. They're all Disney and you just forget.
Well, it's like what is it? So it's like so it's definitely ABC, right?
Like look at all the things.
Yeah, ABC for sure.
Marvel, Lucasfilm,
Yeah.
Pixar. You know, ABC, ESPN. They're starting Disney Plus, which is
I forgot ESPN was owned by Disney.
Yeah, like there's like everything. Like there's just so many things. Disney Channel and all those things too. But yeah, it's so massive. And like nobody does like marketing and synergy like them. I mean, really, like it's very impressive. They do have the best of the best over there in that.
So do you think they're going to go for more adult stuff at some point with some of their other brands? Well, I guess with ABC, they have...
Probably because there's a big Fox
Marvel.
merger going on. So
Yeah.
I'm sure like some of that stuff will.
Yeah. Whatever happened to antitrust laws? Like Disney's just everywhere now. They took over ABC. They're now taking over Fox. Like, what? Okay.
That's a great question. Whatever happened to antitrust laws?
No,
I'm sure
no.
Disney
That's the
does
title
for
of the episode.
everything
My
by the
internet's
book, you guys.
Garbage. My internet's garbage, and I have
They
no
have
options.
An army
exactly.
of lawyers
Bullshit.
making sure everything is legit.
Yeah.
You guys won't hear this
Do not
podcast.
fire
because
me.
If you
Disney
don't-
will suppress it.
Do not.
Disney owns Comedy
Okay,
Papa.
I will say this, but so I actually ran into Jen on the Disney lot one day because I was doing doing a project for Marvel. And I would like to thank Disney for putting me in that place where, one, I got to run into Jen, but also I got to run into Orlando Bloom, and it was one of the best moments of my life in LA. It was pretty great. And he like shook my hand and he like said, hello, I'm Orlando. And I'm like, I know who you are.
She has like a flashback to him shooting arrows off a bridge.
Oh my God.
Like that's a Raven did.
It was like one of the
He
best
shook your
LA
hand.
moments.
He gave you the blessing.
Well, so like,
Is that what it's called, the blessing?
I was coming back. I was coming back from the cafeteria with my fucking salad. And then I'm like, oh shit, that's Orlando Bloom outside our building. Oh my God, it's Orlando Bloom. And I'm like freaking out. And he sees me freaking out, and he was like, he just came up to me. He's like, "Hi, I'm Orlando." I'm like, "Oh my God, this is Orlando."
Did you
like
try to get
stopping
pregnant?
panic attacks across the city.
Did you try to get pregnant immediately?
At that moment, I was just trying to form words out of my mouth because it's fucking Orlando Bloom shaking my hand in front of me.
No, like Disney.
you
And
missed
I don't get starstruck that like in that instant, like that, like in that crazy way. But in that moment, I just lost all my faculty. Like I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, Disney's a funny place because they'll be like, "Oh, we got to go to this meeting." Okay, great. And Oprah will be 2 feet in front of you. You're like, why didn't anyone tell me that Oprah is in this meeting?
Exactly.
I would have put makeup on.
I know that's what I was going to ask. Do you feel pressure to dress up more at work now that you could, if you run into all these celebrities?
No,
or
I only if there's like a meeting or something, or if like if there's something where I feel like I'm pitching or presenting or doing it, then I try to look nice. But like it's too much. I don't like wearing makeup.
After I ran into Orlando Bloom, I sure as hell started doing my makeup and my hair like every day, and I ran into nobody else after that.
Ever again.
That's what someone was telling me. Like you should always dress like you're gonna meet the guy you want to be with. And I'm like,
outta here.
I'm sleepy. Like if it's 20 minutes.
I'm trying to weed people out. You better
work
see
too
me in a
hard.
snuggie eating pizza.
If it's a choice between 20 minutes extra sleep or putting on makeup,
Yeah.
like sleep wins.
For some
every time.
hypothetical man? Are
We
you
worked too
serious?
hard.
Yeah,
for
for a
that
man that probably doesn't exist. No thanks.
But I will say this: every time I run into a celebrity, I look like shit. Like almost every time. Like the day I ran into Chris Pratt, who just walked into this open mic one day.
Stop
What the
it.
fuck? He was going. So they hadn't announced that him and Anna Faris hadn't announced that they were going through a divorce. It was like a week before they had that announcement. And he was just like kind of going around town trying to figure out his life or something. I don't know. And he walked.
Trying to vent an open mic.
He just came to this like neighborhood bar. And he was there.
That's the breakdown as he goes from being happily married and he's like, now I got to start stand up.
Pretty much. How many people going into a divorce end up at an open mic? Like,
Probably a third of the LA population.
I feel like half of open micers.
Exactly.
Someone going through a breakup, we should just hand them Kleenex and turn them back around.
Yeah,
You don't want to be
Just
here.
like we should just do their apps for them.
yeah. So it was. I don't know if it was like one of these bar shows. Like the bar was. They have a back area, the Pikey. If you guys have heard of it, off Sunset. So they have like a back area where they have like a stage and they have like legit shows and stuff there. So we were all just, like it was like a comedy thing. And so I think the owners were like, oh, don't go back there. There's like a comedy open mic or show going on. And he's like, oh, okay. So then and all of a sudden it's like, next up on stage, it's Chris Pratt. And he like comes out.
That's good.
What?
Was he good?
I mean, it was really cute, but like
she didn't hear shit. She didn't hear anything.
So no, it wasn't good. But
He's cute.
He was doing this bit like, I love my wife. It was like one of those, like, it was just like a recurring bit. It was like the same bit over and over again.
in conversation.
I mean, it was like, if you see a celebrity like that, like trying to be funny, you're just going to laugh because you're like, oh my God, you're here in front of me. Like, this
You
is
know
amazing.
them. You like them already.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who you love, you're gonna just like watch them anyway, So it was entertaining, and then
You said you like weren't dressed. Well, you were going to an open mic.
I was like wearing I was wearing my Daria glasses, and like
Wait, those are just my regular ass glasses. What are you
you
saying?
wear glasses?
I do. I was wearing my Daria glasses, and my hair wasn't done. I was just like I'm going down the street to like a mic or whatever, and.
The one time when I ran into Jesse Williams, I was actually dressed like really good.
Of course you were.
Oh,
but then
at Desano's?
yeah, but then I like freaked out, then went away and cried about it. I was like, he was like, he's too hot. I can't handle it.
Jesse
Did
Williams
he smile at you?
He like stared at me, and he didn't break eye contact. I did. Like he stared at me and smiled, and then I was like,
There are some
like,
dudes are
left.
too handsome. You're just
Yeah.
like, I can't.
Yeah, Jesse
I
Williams.
thought I was
Piercing
pregnant.
blue
I got a
eyes.
plan B right then.
You know who's so handsome and so nice is John Legend. Like,
Oh yeah,
he is
seems like he
so
would be.
good looking that you can't look away. You're just like, oh my God.
Real
And he's
life Arthur?
Such a nice dude. Such a nice dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jesse Williams, I've seen him a few times. He used to go to this coffee shops, and then I just kept going to the coffee shop.
What coffee shop?
Oh my God, people are going to think I'm a Jesse Williams stalker.
I am. Tell me offline. Tell me offline so these hoes who listen.
I'm not going to tell you.
Exactly.
But, okay, so he was.
You can just break eye contact with him.
I know.
More.
I'm just gonna go and just keep crying. It's like
Okay, honestly, during this is like when I first moved out to LA. He was still married at the time, and he would come in with his wife and his like baby at the time. And I think he lived in that neighborhood, and so like I saw him like maybe 3 or 4 times, and then I just gave up because he was divorced, and I've been looking for him out on these streets, and apparently he's into Pallavi, so you know.
There was that one time I fucked up my chance. That wasn't it. Maybe he was just staring at me because I had something on my face. Like I have no idea.
Why did you start crying?
Huh? We were at the middle section of Desano's, and I was like walking to the back where this comedy show was, and then we stopped and we stared, and he like smiled at me, and I like didn't know what to do, and I just like looked away and like kept walking. But it was like a moment, and then I like walked in and I was like talking to Barbara Gray, who's like amazing comedian, and I was just like, Jesse Williams was looking at me and he stared into my soul, and then I just started crying.
Oh my God.
I've never had that reaction before.
I mean, that's an amazing moment.
Was it like my eyes were tearing up? It wasn't like full on, but I was like, what just happened?
You weren't weeping.
You know what that is? That is sheer. That's
me
sheer
coming.
validation.
That's me coming from my eyes.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That is sheer
It has to come out
validation.
somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
That's a lot better than when I got hit on by the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Wait.
That was funny. I don't want to piss myself.
No, wait.
What?
Now we gotta wait for this story.
No,
'cause
no,
no,
you gotta wait.
No.
Tell the story.
Wait, when did you get hit on with the
I was
that
like
was
20.
enough. I just have to.
Okay, hold
I
on.
was like
Was
20.
he your father,
was
uncle?
old. He was like a grandpa, and I was like 20.
Where
always
the
been
hell,
old.
Where the hell were you, and
So-
where was Reverend Jesse Jackson?
So I was at Century City, and we were
In LA,
in
okay.
LA in this at one of the hotels in Century City, and I was at some industry thing, and yeah, I was like 20, and then he was walking, and the thing is, he even hits on you in a slick politician way.
Of course,
Really?
You know,
the
like-
Reverend Jesse Jackson.
So he makes eye contact, and he's looking me up and down, and he makes eye
Oh,
contact.
shit, he checked you
and
out.
then he goes like towards the elevator.
Stop
So-
it.
and
Wait, it's all with his eyes?
Wait,
Yeah,
so she just did a head nod.
Yeah, so
like,
a head nod and his
So
eyes.
he like
sort of-
looked at you up and down,
yeah,
and then he
looks
like
at me, and then he goes nods
like,
his head
get over
towards
here.
the elevator
Yeah.
and walks over, and then he turns around, and then he's walking towards the elevator, and he's like trying to get me to go. Are you serious?
Oh shit! You know that's worked before.
Well, not only
Ew.
that, I had to like kind of respect like the way he did that because there's plausible deniability there.
Yeah, he's like,
If
I was
tell the
just
story, He could
looking.
be like, "What? I didn't hit on her.
I never said
But
anything."
But you did, creepers. You totally.
it's like
did.
those stories. Those
you
stories
know
of
this
the, like,
podcast is gonna get shut down tomorrow.
I know.
It's like the black. You got the Black Illuminati. You got the
I got
KKK.
the-
you got Disney.
I
It's
got-
like those stories of like
Yeah.
when Bill Murray will like steal fries from people and be like, "No one will believe you," and then
Yeah.
runs away.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
oh my god!
You're spilling all the tea today.
all the
totally
chai.
was like,
We are
I'm-
drinking
She's
chai
spilling
right
the
now.
chai.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Holy shit, Reverend Jesse Jackson.
It's so gross.
Shit. You know that's worked.
He is.
We had like
he
Orlando
is a
Bloom,
civil rights
Jesse
leader.
Williams, and you had the Reverend.
Both civil rights leaders.
You guys got the social activists for sure. You guys, they're trying to get that social activist dick. That's what they're trying to get.
I'd trade. I want to trade with
No,
your
sorry.
experience.
Jesse
I would not
Williams.
have broken eye contact. If you would have motioned towards the elevator, I'd be
No,
like,
I feel like-
I'd hit it and quit it.
No, but
Yeah.
there are guys like Jesse Williams is like one of those hot guys. I feel like if you look at them too long, you'll turn into stone. You know, it's
That's
like
what
Medusa.
happened.
It's just like, oh my god, is this like a magical thing that's happening? What is this tingling sensation? Oh my god, I'm turning into
Yeah.
stone. This is what's
I
happening.
don't know
Right.
what's
My brain
happening.
did,
I've never
yeah.
felt that way before.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this other really hot guy who I've been crushing on for years. His name is Josh Henderson. Do you guys know who this guy
That
is?
sounds familiar.
He's not like famous like Jesse Williams, but he's been in a lot of things.
We're putting
Like,
out vibes.
He's like that hot guy in like everything. Like he was like one of the hot guys that dated one of the daughters in Desperate Housewives. He was in Step Up. He was
Step Up?
Step Up. He was her boy. He was her
Yo,
douchey
he is
boyfriend.
cute.
Wait, let's see a picture.
Yeah.
So when I visited out here before I even moved out here, I visited out here. It was St. Patty's Day. We were at the Parlor, which is like this, sports bar on Melrose in LA. And I see him and I was like, oh my God, that's him. That's Austin from Step Up. And so we all became friends because I was like, he's not that famous. I could like work my way in. And then he was trying to set me up with his like friend who was kind of like awkward. And it's like, I'm always that girl that's like the hot guy's trying to set up with his friend. And I'm like, oh, fine, I'll talk to your friend. It's fine.
I'm the one that they confide in about other girls. I'm like the best friend of like the hot person.
It's like, I always get so excited when that like super hot guy's approaching me and he's like, hey, my friend really likes you. And I'm like, man, why?
Yeah.
Why not me?
Or if you're talking to somebody and there is a connection and his drunk dumbass friend keeps trying to, it's like, go away. I'm trying to hook up with your friend.
It's so hard.
Away.
It's like some friends don't understand like the dynamic of what's going on.
But the cute one is always like looking at him and like rolling his eyes because he's just like, what are you doing?
He's fucking it up.
Yeah, cock blocker.
Oh my God. And then I ran into him again. When I moved out here, I ran into him again outside of a club. And he's like looking at me and I'm like, oh my God, I think he remembers me. And he was just like, he just straight up kept looking at me. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to look away because I'm like, I don't know what. And then, I Googled him after that and I found out that he dated Paris Hilton. So he likely has some form of something, some strain of something. So
herpes.
I was like, yeah, sure.
He's got herpes.
This is Jen from high school calling a bitch for what she is.
So I was like, you know what?
Fun fact, celebrities are crawling with herpes.
That's true. They call it the A-list, is they also call it the H-list because everybody has herpes, right? Like all
I'm glad you aren't on Raya.
Things celebrities have.
Okay, so
assistants and herpes.
And children.
So what did I miss? You dated Reverend.
No,
Is that what I heard from the bathroom?
let's not start that horrible
This
rumor.
is back from the bathroom, and she missed out.
Heard it
Conclusion.
here. She dated Reverend
Fired
Jesse Jackson
from Disney.
She
canceled
cheated.
by black people.
Cheated on him with
Veterans
Al
are mad at me.
Sharpton.
Okay, so
Down the list.
the Reverend hit on her. Jesse Jackson almost turned her into stone.
Jesse Williams.
I'm sorry, Jesse Williams. Jesse Jackson. What the fuck?
And then she had a crush on Josh Henderson, who's like this hottie, but he dated Paris Hilton, so we think he has herpes.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I didn't move forward in that direction.
That's sad that celebrities
self-love,
are
though.
gross.
Yeah. Well,
Wait, I missed it.
you know what it is?
I said that's sad that celebrities are gross.
It's just because they have a lot of sex. Like if you have a lot of sex, you're more likely to catch them. I mean, that's just it's a number.
Yeah. Sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It's true. We
And
shouldn't
people
shame
are
them.
gross.
We shouldn't shame them. People just need to get checked more.
Okay, so speaking of love, there's actually a dating app for people with herpes. I don't exactly know what it's called, but there is a dating app for them.
It's
Love and herpes, like love and hip hop. I don't know. I feel like
love and herpes.
That should be it.
You're so good at that.
Herpes. It's just called herpes dating. No, positive singles. Dating positives.
That sounds like an HIV site.
Dating.
It
Yeah.
does. Is it
It'll give your computer a virus.
Is it for all diseases or just herpes?
What if it's for people who, you know how we had the Jewish dating app and it was like others, so like you don't have herpes but you're interested.
But you're interested in getting herpes? Yeah,
herpes.
sure.
Oh man, it's all just Usher's exes.
Because
I am like terrified of catching an STD.
here's the thing: if you if you have a disease, you're more so gonna stay in your like group of people who also have the disease, so you're less likely to spread it, right? So
herpes.
If you
I
get
think
herpes,
if you're a woman, you are. I think if men are more likely to be pissed off about it.
if you get herpes as a woman, you're more likely to sleep with celebrities who have herpes.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's how they get you. They give you herpes and then you gotta fuck.
I totally like Love and Herpes better. I'm gonna pitch this
Love
TV
and herpes.
show.
No, Love and Herpes is a great title for something.
Love and Herpes. Love
For like a-
and
for a
marriage.
tell-all.
Can we do that? Love and Herpes.
Yeah. So gross.
Oh my God. If you have herpes, we still love you.
Yeah.
I'm just a horrible person.
Do you?
What? I don't know. I mean, I love Josh Henderson, but he has herpes.
We don't know that.
We don't know that.
Herpes.
We don't know
does.
that.
We don't know that.
I looked him up. I
he
Googled the shit out of this guy because I was like, is there a chance? And no.
It's like public knowledge,
I don't
That
think
he has herpes? Well, it's public knowledge that he dated Paris Hilton.
and she has it. For
I also looked up celebrities with herpes, and he was on that.
my Google thing is just like so terrible because of this podcast. I keep looking up. I looked up Josh Henderson herpes, and it talked about a burglary case.
He was
but there's no herpes.
He was probably involved.
Oh no,
in the
now it's just
burglary
herpes
ring.
stuff. Oh god. Okay, I gotta get off of this.
Is that the name of this episode? Is Love and Herpes?
Love and herpes.
No, please don't make my.
Love and herpes with Jen Jolly.
Don't make my.
Sorry, Jennifer
Guys,
Jolly.
She's definitely gonna get fired from Disney.
How about dating Jesse Jackson? Jen Jolly.
Jen Jolly, Jesse Jackson. That's it. That's
Choose
that's
her
clever.
with love.
JJ. JJ
Jen and the
JJ.
Reverend Jen.
JJ and JJ with HH.
Oh my god, I'm like crying.
Father Uncle with Jen Jolly.
Father, uncle.
Like, I don't want to get married for love. I just want to get married so I
For
don't
herpes.
get herpes. And like, you want to name
No.
this podcast Love and Herpes?
Okay.
This is bullshit.
I swear to God. I've been thinking about this herpes thing more and more because like I literally, okay, I'm not going to say names, but I know I'm friends with 5 people in LA in entertainment and they've all gotten herpes in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. And one of them is like, she found out after he proposed and that she like now has her, because it's like if you're together for so long, like you don't think that you're gonna like contract diseases
Right,
all of a
yeah.
sudden. And so she legit said, she's like, I don't want to return the ring. And I'm like, wait, do you have to return the ring if you can't return the herpes? And it's just like, it's such,
You know,
it is insane the conversations that you have in Los Angeles.
yes. And I hear about it more from women than men because they're in the middle of a crisis. Like they just got it and they're like devastated. So,
Are you
like
taking
I've heard
crotch
so many
photos?
what-
Is it like,
Oh my God.
I'm doing a GPS thing. I didn't want the sound to come.
Okay.
I just wanted to see how long
She's
it'll take.
checking for
herpes.
herpes.
She's checking for herpes.
She's checking for herpes.
I have
She
an
took
app.
a photo. There's an app for
It
that.
uploads directly to WebMD. It's
Sorry, Jen.
crowdsourced.
Jen, continue. What were you saying?
Oh, just that it's women will tell you when they get it because usually a boyfriend cheated or like and they're like having a crisis and so they're more likely to share. I've never heard of a guy. None of my guy friends like talk about
People are pretty ignorant about like how you can like get things and like and also like a lot of dudes are asymptomatic because it
Yes.
affects women differently. Like of course it screws us over more.
Right.
Like and
We're
it can,
just more in tune with our bodies. That's all.
well no I mean
Well, no, it's also
it really does
the
like it's
mechanics,
actual
the
and we
symptoms
get
of it.
we get
the
affected
symptoms are
faster.
different and
Yeah.
also like it can prevent you, it can cause you to not be able to have kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So like women like it can flare up more in women, so dudes will just like fuck around and think it doesn't matter and think that they don't have anything
Yeah.
and like spread it.
Yeah.
And then
They think it's
they
like
don't suffer.
HPV.
They think it
it's
doesn't
like
matter.
HPV.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it'll just clear up on its own.
Oh, yeah, everybody has HPV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, the results came back.
Are you
Herpes positive.
Yeah, where's the positive?
Love
I've never had a
and
dating app, and that
herpes,
looks like
love and herpes go together.
You know what's weird is like I think if we were to spread that rumor that one of us had herpes, I feel like the creepiest dudes would get in your DMs. Like it would not deter people. It would just bring in other people.
Statistically,
Celebrities.
Los Angeles,
Celebrities are gonna hit up your
there
DM.
are
Get it.
5 people
Raya.
in this room right now. So statistically, in Los Angeles, like one person should
Who
have
has herpes in the
Paul.
cookie jar?
Is it Paul or Sound Guy?
Paul.
confess.
No, but he's from. Where are you from? You're from Palmdale or some shit. You're not. Pomona.
Well, aren't y'all like born with herpes? Oh no.
In Pomona?
You say were you born with herpes?
Yeah.
No, you.
Are you thinking of Pacoima?
Jen and I keep exchanging looks over
Palmdale?
business statements.
What's happening?
We're like,
Bad at
that's
math,
not
bad
right.
at science.
We're like, that can't
I'm just
happen.
crossing things.
Oh my
I'm
god.
not bad at math. Okay, fine.
She's STD
I love that you have
profiler.
no problem with us saying you have herpes, but like I'm good at math, you bitches.
I can understand that.
This is my identity. No,
No, I have a feeling if you have herpes in LA,
I don't.
you're likely to get cast more in Hollywood, right? Because your social circles are going to elevate as a woman.
yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know. Like new girls out here, just go get herpes. I don't know what to tell you.
Please don't.
I don't know.
Please just get checked, everybody.
Odds are you will. So that's Ask dudes to get tested, honestly, because you never know. What
Ask everyone to get tested.
And you know, anytime like if you're the one who brings up the conversation, they're like, I'm so relieved. Like it's always so awkward, I guess, for guys to ask girls if they have anything.
Yeah.
So I really am so happy that you asked me to go get tested.
Well, you know what my experience has been with guys is they'll be like, I'm clean, and they don't like they'll say they're clean and they don't even ask.
You have to see the papers.
Yeah, they also only get checked like once a year.
Yeah.
I'm like, after I break up with someone.
Bitch, show
I
me.
want to know if I caught something.
I do that
I want to
too.
know who needs to die.
I do that too.
My
but also
point is,
like
they're saying they're clean and they don't even give a shit what I am. They're like, I don't know about you, but I'm clean. Let's fuck. You know, like there's no.
This is why, like, at dinner on our date, appetizer is those papers from today. I want to see that test.
Yeah. No.
It's gross.
I want to see paperwork.
Yeah.
Wait, okay,
From
so
a doctor that I know.
Doctor that you know. Doctor
From a doctor
Jolly.
that I am related to, so I know you didn't pay anybody off. Yeah.
I just have to acknowledge the little bit of shade that Sarge threw about Pacoima. Is that what you said?
No,
Pacoima.
Pomona. What
No,
is it?
Pomona.
Pomona.
He's
What's
from
Pacoima, Pomona.
Pomona is a magical
Pomona's
place in California where nobody has herpes.
You're not allowed to call anything other than Disneyland a magical place by contract.
I don't know.
Speaking of
the other magical place.
Speaking of contracting things,
Well, no, because she was saying it's Los Angeles, so 1 in 5 people have herpes in Los Angeles, right? Probably
At
not.
least. It's
probably not in
probably-
this room because we have parents that would kill us.
Because we're all virgin.
and we're all virgins. We're all virgins.
we're like shaming everybody on this podcast.
No.
If you have herpes, it's fine. Fucking
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. You
It's
can-
just a projection of our
You
own
can marry a
insecurities.
celebrity.
You're fucking
know.
more than I'm fucking,
You're
which is like good for you.
Also, there's a whole app for you guys.
You
like,
fucking
you're fine.
know.
Yeah.
You're fine.
There's one whole app for
All
them.
the hot guys have herpes, so you're
True.
fine.
Can we make that trend? Hashtag all the hot guys have herpes.
is
all the
true,
hot
though.
guys, all the hot guys have herpes.
That's so depressing.
all the hot guys in LA definitely do have herpes.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah,
Hey, Jesse Williams, though.
Maybe that's why you start crying.
Yeah, I could just feel it.
Yeah, you caught it. Like the eye
Like, why are
contact
my
is just
eyes
too-
burning? That's
my
how much
God.
green has.
You broke eye contact as a way.
Do
like
you
a survival
know? Do you
tactic.
know how offended guys get when you just ask them? Like, there's certain guys in entertainment. I've asked like maybe 3 of them just jokingly, like, "So do you have herpes?" They're like, "What? I don't have herpes.
What have you heard?
What are you talking? Like, they get so fucking paranoid. And
You're
I'm
fucking
like,
with their fuck schedule.
and I'm like, what? Am I scaring you? Did you have a scare recently? Like, so that you got to change your ways, man. If someone joking about it is making you like all soft, like something's happening.
That's how y'all know I definitely don't have herpes.
I feel like
I just needed to clarify that again.
Speaking of herpes, Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yes,
It's fast approaching. Do you have any
Speaking of herpes.
do you have any plans leading up to Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day or any of that stuff?
No, I don't have set plans. I'll probably do something with friends. I also Valentine's Day is the National League of Women Voters Day, so that's what I celebrate on
cool.
Valentine's Day.
Okay.
how do you celebrate that?
How do you
Just by
celebrate?
posting
Yeah, I know.
stuff. Happy National League of Women Voters Day,
Wait,
people.
so hold on. National League of Women's Voters Day.
Yes.
That's different than I don't
Pantsuit
understand.
Nation or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's different than the Pantsuit Nation Day. That's different than like women's suffrage. That's like I'm trying to understand like all the different like celebrations of white women voting.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But that was
So-
part of the suffragette movement. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think they wanted to not have it be Valentine's Day. I think they
Okay,
were like,
yeah.
let's have something that's actually,
we want
more
to
meaningful
be with
for
our
women.
man on Valentine's Day. Can we do it another day?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about you guys? You guys
I'm
have
doing a
dates?
show on
Oh.
Valentine's Day because the booker knew I would be alone. They're like, you'll be free. Just do the show. I'm like, fucking yeah. Of course I'm going to do the show.
Well, Zara probably has plans.
I don't right now. I mean, like last year, I was on a show. I had dinner plans, and then I did a Valentine's Day show anyway. So this year, I think I can do both loves. You know, like I can do my Valentine's Day and comedy on the same day.
Do you guys? I know everybody asks comedians this if they watch The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah.
So did you see the season finale?
I did.
Yes, I did. Not
But
yet.
basically, it's like you can't be a woman and do comedy and have a relationship.
I don't believe
you
it.
can't. Like you have
Yeah.
to choose.
Fucking, I don't care. Fine.
No, I mean, there was
fine.
so
I
much.
pick comedy.
But
Comedy's the first love, man.
yeah.
There's so much of that narrative that like I was like afraid to like start a relationship, but I don't really think it's a thing.
You just have to have someone who gets this. Like if you can find someone
Like a DJ.
Yeah.
like a DJ.
Like a DJ,
Like a DJ.
who also works at night, you know,
Yeah.
like it's fine. Who also has like, I'm pretty sure like all sorts of crazy things in his DMs.
Yeah.
So
So you can't
At
be
least
with a
it's not
normie
herpes.
or a
Yeah.
civilian.
I'm sure one of those bitches has herpes. Who's in
I'm
the
sure there's
DMs.
some type of herpes that can be transferred through the fucking DM. I'm good at science. I'm good at science, bitch. Don't look at me like that.
Jen is like,
I'm just
of concern.
Can I say some facts?
Yeah.
Can I live? Can
All
I
some alternative facts right
Give us
now.
some
Let's go.
alternative Fizz-a-facts. Come on.
You
Fizz-a-facts.
just want me to make some shit up. so
Yo,
you can look at me.
that's a straight up segment. Fizz-a-facts.
Yeah, Fizz-a-facts
We
where
should
you
do
just
that.
make up bullshit.
right after my science section.
You tell us the real science.
Oh, no.
And then huh?
Oh shit!
he's taking a picture. Okay,
No.
ready?
No, I
No,
thought he said something. I was
Nah,
like,
he's
what?
taking a photo.
Okay, back to Mrs. Maisel. Do you actually think that, or like, have you been able to like go on dates and stuff?
It made me sad because like that seems to be like a real thing with comedians. Like,
It is
not just
that's
women
been
comedians,
a
but I think
narrative
it's-
for
yeah.
a long time
It's
that like
you have- that
comedians.
it's a very lonely life and you can't have both.
But
I
have you
think
like
part of
tried
the
But you
reason-
can't be a person if you don't have like you have to have friends and family.
But have
I
you
think
tried
love in your
to
life.
date someone who has a similar lifestyle?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Yeah, like I think that's the trip. But it depends like what it is. I would say like you were saying like a DJ or like a musician. But musicians I think run really hot and cold.
Mhm.
You know, like,
Yeah.
like 1 minute they're crazy about you, and the next minute like they're done. Like it's
maybe
very,
another comic.
I think that's a terrible. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've seen it work and
Yeah.
I've seen it go bad. So like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say one or the other, but I think it's possible. It is possible. I've seen it done.
I think you could date I could date someone who works in comedy, but maybe not like
Like a
as
producer or
comedian.
something?
Yeah. Like or a director,
I've
or a
seen-
writer. Like I get along
I've
really
seen that
well with
work, too.
writers. Yeah. But
It's Hollywood, man. People are lonely. People are actually looking for love. I mean, I know.
but
it's
I
hard
also
to
think-
find.
I also think
they're very narcissistic.
I think
and
that's part of it.
opportunistic, and all they're thinking about is like how to get a next get. And I remember one comedian was hitting on me one time. And then when he found out, like he got bumped off of this show and they were putting me on the show, like he had a hissy fit and got me bumped back off the show.
fuck
And
off.
then I was just like, wow, if I hadn't said anything, he wouldn't have even known that happened. But I was like, oh, you're off that? I was like, I'm on that show. He's like, no, because they just bumped me out. And then
These
it turned
egos,
into a thing. And I
though.
was just
Damn.
like, oh, you're that guy.
But I also think for women in comedy, we're very like, for women who take comedy very seriously, like we all do, we're very motivated. And so like we are going to pick going and doing the show over like a date or over something else. And so it's partially a choice. It's partially us being like, we're very ambitious. We care a lot about our careers.
The shows are booked so far in advance. It's not
Yeah.
like all of a sudden I'm going to go do, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes I do it last minute. I told
That's true. That's true.
I had a date on Saturday. I literally said that I had a date on Saturday with a med student. I was like, if I get a show, I'm gonna do it. It's like being on call.
Yeah.
You should understand.
I'm on call. There was like a good 2 years. Even now, still I'm on call. Like if I don't have a show Saturday night and someone's like, "Hey, like you want to do?" it? I'm like, "Okay, yeah,
That's true. That's
Shit,
true.
it's Monday and I'm about to leave y'all to go to this show.
Yeah.
No, that's
we
true.
should wrap up soon.
Oh man, I wanted to look at her phone
don't
and go
rush on
through her
account of
dating
me.
app.
I'm leaving to pee. I'm leaving to do comedy. I'm saying
Are you
Wrong
on
facts.
the dating apps? Are we trying
I'm
to
not-
find love for you?
just fucking up all day
I don't think
today.
apps are the way to go for me. I definitely think like there's so much more. I know it works
Dude,
for
I
some
thought
people.
that too, and I was like,
No, that's
I
what
almost retired from the dating apps.
Yes,
I went through dating app fatigue many times, and then
And it's all the same
eventually-
people on each of the, like it's like you see the same.
You do see similar faces,
And it does work out for some people, but I think there's so many, like if you just take it to a primal level, right? There's
Yeah.
other things happening like pheromones and like a connect. There's things that might be on paper that you don't. That
Oh, yeah.
like you have to. And I know people say that's what the first day is before, but I was like, no, but I think like it's better like in real life.
I do judge people more on dating apps. Like I definitely, if I met some of the people or if I looked at their profiles rather than met them in person, I would not have fucked some of the people I fucked. Like I would have like swiped left and not given them a chance. And there is that pheromone thing. Like there was definitely like a guy where I was just like, I can just smell this dude. I don't even understand why this is happening. I can smell him before he gets here. Like I have no idea what's happening. And there was like this attraction. And if I'd seen him on an app, I would not have like at all been interested.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, I think in real life it's better.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer in real life, but like we're comics, so we're never really surrounded by like eligible men in real life.
Know. But what's funny, I also like it. You think you're in a city of millions of people, so people aren't going to see you on these apps, and like that's exactly what. There's a comedian. He's pretty well known who's on an app.
Dane Cook.
And no.
Dane Cook is on Bumble. No. Trying to be a 23-year-old, by the way.
Yeah, wait, did he actually do that?
Yeah, I have like a screenshot in my Dropbox somewhere. Like,
there's a lot of comics like who just hook up with people on Instagram.
It says 23.
It was like a ridiculous number that he's like no longer able to pull off.
Maybe that wasn't him though.
Maybe it was him. It was him for sure.
I didn't want to put that I do stand-up comedy or anything, or I work in comedy, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but my profile is funny. Like I made it funny, and we had never met, but I knew who he was because he's successful. And then he was like, he's like, this isn't like normal person fun. Like, do you work in comedy? Are you a comedy writer? Are you? And I was just like, and I just like
you threw your phone in the toilet. You flushed it.
I had to block this guy
but it's like every comic can like smell another comic from a mile away.
Guess, but
like
I
there were so many
like didn't put any of that stuff. Like
I ran into Kieran before I knew her at an audition, and she asked me if I was a comic based on my sneakers. So I don't like before we even said a word to each other.
We just know we can see our own like brethren. Like it's
Maybe she smelt my pheromones.
Probably
my comedy.
Even at work, like at Disney, there are people who work in comedy or try to do stand-up. Like those are the people that I just, before I even knew that about them, are the ones you naturally gravitate to because they understand, they laugh at the same things, they understand, and then you find out, I used to do stand-up comedy. Or,
so you can tell a lot about a person rather than what they're saying rather than that, you can tell a lot about them by what they laugh at. Like I know how to judge people based on like what they react to so much better than, what they're actually saying.
Yeah. And the word, like I hate being around people who are super uptight. Like that's
I can't
the
stand
word,
it.
And people who like.
But I feel like at places like Disney, like places that are very corporate, there's a lot of uptight people.
There's a lot of
everywhere.
There is, but I work
not
in
the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Right, exactly. He should be
He's chill as fuck.
Yeah. But when you work with the creatives, like it's a different thing. Like people are kind of tend to be cooler or whatever. But like.
Wait, what are you laughing about, Fissa?
I'm just thinking about you and your fling with Jesse.
I did not have a fling.
There was no fling. It was a potential fling that didn't go anywhere.
That's what we are running through so many bad titles for this episode.
that week in April, Miami Beach.
Yeah, you're fling with Jesse Jackson.
Fizza's never gonna know unless you go back.
No. This is her Fizza facts right now. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Fizza facts.
I'm just, you know what? This is just an alternate reality that makes me laugh.
Where she is with Jesse Jackson.
Oh my god. This is like the alternate ending.
Okay, like, you were talking about being with creatives at work. You're like, that's what I can't. She's just like losing it. I'm trying to help. Okay,
see, this is just I'm glad I didn't hear it because what I'm imagining is just way better in my head than I think what you
I wish I didn't see it or experience it either. I wish.
But was he hot in any way?
What as fuck?
This is it. Why were you trying to help the situation?
I'm just wondering. Like, was there any inkling of like, okay, he's charming.
Okay, but like, would you smash though?
No.
I'm just wondering.
Okay, what about like Reverend Al Sharpton? Like, would you smash?
No.
I mean, he's definitely old. No. But Reverend Jesse Jackson, I feel like he's got some charisma left in him, Like, was the charisma not enough?
No.
And by charisma, you mean
Viagra. That's all I mean. Like, he probably has a prescription.
I was thinking something else. He said he has a little something left in him. You want to help him out with that?
I don't know.
Want to help him out with some of that charisma?
Fizza's over here pimping out Jesse
Jen
Oh my god, Fizza wants to fuck the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Fizza's just pimping out Jesse Jackson right now.
Put it on record.
What is wrong with you?
I'm so sorry, Jen. We didn't mean for this to turn into.
I
100%
tried to bring it back. I
knew
tried
this
to
would
reel it
happen.
in.
This is why I don't
Look,
go
I
on
was-
podcasts.
I was just trying to laugh quietly to myself, not make a scene, and you asked.
I know. I needed to know why you were laughing.
No, look at this face, though. How could you turn away this face? Oh
my God.
Look at how cute those cheeks are, though. He looks kind of like a koala in this picture. Oh, you know what?
You know
koalas
they have
Chlamydia.
gonorrhea.
They have
Is it
chlamydia.
Chlamydia or gonorrhea?
I
Okay,
think
chlamydia.
chlamydia.
Man, no one's safe.
Yeah.
No one's safe from STD.
So he shot his shot. He took his shot, and he.
I feel like we spent 45 minutes of this podcast on this.
The worst, and I feel like someone is going to be on social media to be like, "Fuck you! He's a national treasure." How dare you talk badly about him?
Hey, he talked with his
Whatever.
eyes. You may have
That's right.
misconstrued it. You don't know. You
I
don't
did
know.
not, but it's true.
What I mean, no one knows for sure.
No one
you know?
knows for sure. Plausible deniability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So men, if you want to hit on women, that's the way to do
Yeah.
it. Just
Don't
with your-
catcall. Just
use your
not-
eyes.
Use your eyes in your head, like a Bollywood dancer.
Do it like the Reverend did it. Do it like that.
Yeah.
Do it like the Reverend did it. It's going to be like another like rap song with a dance.
Do it like,
Do
the Reverend did it.
Oh
Do
my
it
God.
like
That's
the
the-
Reverend did
that's
it.
Oh shit. We've made a sitcom. Like we made a
Love and
sitcom.
herpes. You
Love
don't
and
want
herpes.
Love and herpes with Jen. You don't want that shit.
Do it like the Reverend did it.
Yeah, with Jen.
I could just see LL Cool J just
She's
like
so
doing
look
that
how
one.
upset she is. You guys, she's like, I was trying to. She literally was trying to talk about like connecting with creatives at work, and we were like, "Yo, but did you fuck with?"
For real though.
Is Jesse Jackson considered a creative though?
No.
That was a creative way of hitting on
That
her.
is a very yeah. He has
Does that
decades
count?
and decades.
What
and
if he's
decades of experience? He's perfected it to no words.
It's like he should write a book about that.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Okay, so
I can't breathe.
Oh my god, my face. You guys, I'm getting wrinkles because of this podcast episode. Stop it. Stop. I've been trying all month to not smile, but it's not working.
oh my god.
Like everybody just keeps making me laugh. This is how I know I'm moving up in comedy because I'm just surrounded by hilarious fucking people. It's great. I love it. It's amazing, but it's also
It's
like
aging.
It's aging. Like what the fuck? Anyway, thank you, Jen.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to everybody that's
I'm
listening.
trying to smooth out all my lines.
Yeah.
From all that Reverend Jesse Jackson laughter and joy and God, can you just imagine? Like, what if it worked
oh my
out?
god.
Okay, I'm done.
Oh my God, you could introduce your reverend boyfriend to your father uncle.
So great.
It would be so terrible.
Wait, and then you could keep it. You could keep it as like Jennifer Jackson.
Oh,
Jen Jackson.
Jen Jackson.
Oh my goodness. Should we even
So
bother?
upset. She's like, I thought I was gonna talk feminist, like women of color in
I was
comedy.
like, I'm not gonna mention anybody. I was like, I need to like,
Yo,
we're like the Howard Sterns.
And then before I realized what came out of my mouth, because that's the thing, you think you're just talking with your friends.
That's how
and
we
then-
get you.
I know, and then you say some shit that gets you in
That's
trouble.
what's happening.
Why do you
But
think
this
next
is
time
what
we're bringing
happens.
wine instead of chai?
Oh shit! If this is what happens with chai, I want to
bring
know what
wine.
happens with
I
wine.
know, that's what happens after a long day of work.
That's great.
All right. What else do we covered?
Do we want to do?
two things.
Well, there's
We didn't even cover your pro tennis career.
that's like
but
a-
we're gonna have to save that. For
Yeah, I
another
think
one.
what we talked about was herpes and Jesse Jackson was way more important than her.
neither of which
Neither
Jen
of
has.
which has anything to do with me. I didn't fuck with either of those two
We're
things.
not even kidding. Jen was a pro tennis player, and we did not even get to that. Like she is a creative at the studio. She's a writer. She's involved in so many amazing projects.
Jen
And she
is
was
amazing.
a professional athlete, and we didn't even get to that.
You will go down in history as the girl who almost fucked Reverend. Almost, but not quite.
Okay. Wow.
But you did not.
So Jen,
did not.
Plausible
you're
deniability.
invited back to our podcast anytime you want to
thinks.
come back.
She's never coming back. She's like, fuck this.
You bitches are all dead to me. This is entrapment.
Middle school Jen.
I know that's
Dead to
Entrapment.
me.
Let me tell you something.
That's a callback for any comedy
So
fan.
should we ask you who your favorite South Asian celeb is, or like does that because now you're one of us?
Yeah.
no, you know, I gotta I like anyone who's
Mindy? No,
Yeah,
I'm just playing.
no, but that's how bad you want representation. Is so I would say Mindy Kaling and Aziz Ansari and
Your childhood Jesse Jackson?
Asif Manvi,
Asif Manvi.
Yeah, they're all, just anyone Indian doing comedy, or Asian doing really just diversity in comedy. Like those are the people that. But as far as Indians go,
And
right.
you must have seen like a significant change, like being in the industry for a minute, then in the last few years. That's got to be exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot better now than it used to be. So that's cool. It gives people hope. Gives me hope.
Yay!
Yay!
Cool. And then what's like the most? So we usually ask people who aren't South Asian if they have a dumb question about us. But what's like the dumbest question somebody has asked about, like to you, or an assumption they've made or something?
Assumption they made. Well, I would say growing up in Florida, we would get a lot of times older, well-meaning white people would just come and do, "Oh, you speak English so well."
Dude, I get that
and
too.
It's like,
Yeah.
what?
I never get that.
I've gotten that so many times.
Yeah. And my parents would go, "Thank you," like when they were talking to us. And I would be like, "That's not a compliment."
They're insulting us. You have to like point out racism to your parents because they're just like, I don't know.
Like, oh, they're just trying to be nice.
I was just
They're trying
making
to
a
be nice.
self-deprecating joke over here.
Oh, she doesn't speak English good. Is what she said.
Ha ha ha.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
We got weird. Yeah, that is frustrating.
Yeah, so that's like a
because
weird.
also like the British, like even if you don't think we were born in this country, like you still don't understand how India happened or like how the British influence there.
The British taught us English, so her English should be better than American
than
English.
you. Yeah.
You know? Just saying.
I get that a lot when I'm around people from India and they have like an accent. And so sometimes in white people's minds, they think I'm from India too, but I don't have the accent. So they think my English is better, even though it's not. It's just not accented.
Oh, so they're holding you to a lower standard.
But it's not even it shouldn't even be a lower standard.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. It's super frustrating.
Yeah, so those are weird questions. Or like when people say, "Well, you don't look like a comedian." And to me, that's like, well, thanks, because typically comedians are hideous. So what you're saying is, you find me attractive.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Thanks. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question because we have a fellow South Asian on the show. So we do the segment when we have one of our own brethren here. Can you tell us about a time where like you actually like make the stereotype? So we call it make or break the stereotype.
Build
so like
or break.
Well,
build or break.
We spent 10 minutes of this podcast on math. So
So you build a stereotype.
That's a stereotype.
Okay.
Yeah, and breaking it. I mean,
You can't say comedy because that's
no. But like everyone in my family though is like in the sciences or in healthcare or and I wanted to go to school for film and theater, and like that's what I did. And also I played sports. Like there weren't a lot of Indian people playing sports when I was growing up.
Like Indian people playing like table tennis, but not like regular tennis.
Right.
Carom.
Right.
Yeah,
Carom.
I love
carom
carom.
board. Get on board.
I love that.
Like there was
Those muscly fingers.
Were you and your brother the only Indian American pro tennis players?
No, there was a couple
there were a couple others.
Yeah, but I'm short. Like I'm only 5'2", so that's very short for that's the running joke in our family. It's like, why do mom and dad love us enough to give us HGH? Because all the other players were taking it.
Yeah.
That's why they're all like 6 feet tall. Yeah.
Oh, so that's what I should give my kids when I have them.
Before they hit puberty.
Got it. I wish my parents did
That's
that.
the key.
Yeah.
If you want ginormous tennis playing babies.
I think I just want my kid to be a supermodel. I'm going to work on that.
Okay, you do that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm going to raise
plan.
it the next
That's a good
Bella
plan.
Hadid. The next Bella Hadid, okay? She's
I
out
just hate
here.
that people's goals are like to be like an Instagram model or like to be a YouTube star, but like have no skill sets. Like I hate that's like a pet peeve of mine. Like when people like and really like people who are constantly like comparing themselves, like when Beyonce takes the and it's like,
You're not Beyonce.
do you think that Beyonce? Like
No.
Beyonce has spent
She can
a
sing.
lifetime, but developing a craft. Like
Yeah.
she is only on social media. By the way, she follows nobody.
Yeah.
So she's only on social media to sell tickets to her
Yeah.
shows, to get you to buy her albums. Like she's not doing social media like for the love of
She's not an influencer. She's fucking Beyonce.
Yeah,
she's been dancing since she was like
she has
2
a
or whatever.
talent. Like, like I think that's the thing. Like I feel like when we were all kids, people had a skill to be famous, and now it's like you can just be obnoxious on YouTube.
You just
and
have
get
a
followers.
like a contagious type of personality with
Yeah.
some talent, and it'll get you far.
Not even with talent. That's what she's saying.
That's what I'm saying. No,
you just have a
you don't have to-
personality, and you're
yeah.
like, just watch me be a person, and then that's like.
And if you're persistent, if you constantly post all the time, and like you get like people to follow you, like and before you know it, like you've got
those
sponsors
people
and-
though. I've met a couple of those people in real life, and they're just not like real people in real life. They don't have like.
and then
substance.
that's also a pressure, is that like social media becomes their job, and it's like super unpleasant.
Yes, and I feel like comedy, like
I'm sorry, I'm so
haven't
late
heard
right now.
Fizza, I just realized Fizza hasn't talked in like 12 minutes.
I know,
Get
I
the
know.
fuck out of here. You
she's
got a
late.
show.
She's late.
All right.
Don't we? Should we take a selfie?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we gotta
wrap up. Jen, where can we find you?
Oh, so I am at Foxy Jolly on Instagram, and I'm at Jen Jolly1 on Twitter.
Great.
And jenjolly.com will be fixed shortly.
And you can find her on our shows, our facial
Yes.
recognition shows. She just did Sketchfest with us, and it was super fun.
It was.
And you can find us at facialrecognitioncomedy.com, Facial Recognition Comedy on Patreon, Facebook, and Instagram, and Facial Rec Comedy on Twitter. I'm Paula Viganalin, PallaVigunAlan. That's my website, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter.
I'm Zara Ali. You can find me on all social medias at Really Zara. Zara is spelled Zahra.
And I'm Fizzasani, who talks
No one's listening.
sometimes.
No one,
Yeah,
they
no one's
turn
listening to
this
this
off.
shit. I know.
Star of Love and Herpes.
Just Google pizza, and I might pop up. Fizzadasani, FIZADOSANI.com. You're not listening.